Well, folks, finally, we are able to talk and review the new series, the highly anticipated series, Foundation. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review, a special review today. And today we're going to be reviewing the series Foundation, which is going to be releasing exclusively on Apple TV Plus September 24th. Now that day you're going to get 2 episodes, and each and every following Friday you will get a new additional episode. It's 10 episodes. They're about an hour each, and it's a season you don't want to miss. This show has been on my radar since it was announced, and it was announced back in 2018 during the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, which they were talking about a whole bunch of different random stuff, and then all of a sudden they were just like, hey, by the way, we got this new original series coming out, and here's a teaser of it. And the moment I seen that, all of the entertainment world went nuts, because everybody wanted to see this show come to life. Now there's 2 ways you could get here. 1, you can just be somebody looking for a new show, or 2, you could be a fan of the novels brought to you, the trilogy of novels by Isaac Asimov, who, whether you like those or whether you're looking for a new series, 2 good reasons to want to check this out. And then there's a couple other different reasons too. I mean, number 1, Apple TV Plus was just getting into the streaming service wars, and you were kind of saying, well, cool, why and what should make me invest into Apple TV Plus? With Netflix and everybody else being so dominant, why? And I think this show really put a lot of eyes on the product, considering that, oh, this could be something special, whether you like, space exploration shows and movies and stuff like Star Trek, Star Wars, and other things. I think there's just there's a huge fan base and demand for and demand for this genre. So, since 2018, it's been a long road, and yes, it's been a while, but because of the pandemic, which halted production, it was a long time coming, but finally, it is now out. Foundation. Now, it's so much to cover in this, and I can't wait to break it all down. And I really got to tell you that I was really impressed by this. I was really impressed. I love space. I love space exploration. I love sci-fi, and this really delivered in every aspect. But the big thing for me, and I should mention that this is also brought to you by showrunner and executive producer David S. Goyer, who brought to you Batman Begins and Man of Steel, 2 projects that is visually pleasing. Whether you like Man of Steel or not, folks, that's a conversation for another day. It's the most visually pleasing superhero movie I've seen to date when it was released, and I think that set a high bar for expectation for this. And then ultimately, you can't talk about world building in space and not have amazing visuals. So that was the big thing I was looking forward to, is how would the visuals look, and they did not let down. Very impressed. Some of the visuals was just so mind-blowing and jaw-dropping that I was just like, wow. Just wow. And you start to think like, man, if I had an opportunity to go outside and see something like this, what would I do? Because it was just so beautifully pleasing. I was just blown away. And beyond just the visuals, the special effects, I thought the cinematography was really good as well too. There was some shots of our different characters that I just really liked, and it just really came together really well. And you have to consider that when you're talking about futuristic settings and future and distant worlds, that you have to use some CG. And the CG, I will say, very minimum cases that I thought it was just kind of wonky or doing too much. But other than that, everything looked fantastic. I can't stress enough. It's fantastic. But talking about this series, so let's get into it now. You have this revolutionary Dr. Harry Seldon. This guy is a genius. He has a following, a cult following, shall I say, and he is when I say genius, he's really good with numbers. Like, he based everything off of numbers. And he's also, while that seems to be a good thing, this is kind of problematic for some, which I'll come back to in a second. But he right now has calculated an impending fall of the empire. Terms like empire and stuff like that, you start thinking like, oh yeah, I know where this is going. And while he predicts such, that's also not good for the empire, which is ruled by a group of Cleons who is a long line of emperor clones. I mean, they're all named empires. They call each other brother, they call each other son, but they're all just clones of one another, and they all name they're all empire. Even though they call this, amongst the three of them, sometimes they call each other like Brother Dawn, Brother Dusk, as like the different times of days based on the age group or whatnot. But it's always a rule of three of them. But while that's the case, because they're used to their way of hierarchy, and this has been in order for generations, and when you have somebody like Dr. Harry Seldon, who has a huge following and is smart and is predicting the fall of empire, they don't want that to happen, because that will shift the balance of power here. So at this point now, not just power, but their legacy, but at this point now, he becomes a threat to them. So while Dr. Harry Seldon has, this following of his, he enlisted the help of some recruits. And one person in particular is Gal Dornick, who is played by Lau Lubell. Fantastic, by the way. She is just as bright and just as smart, and that's why she was, individually picked by him to meet with him and to sort of not only validate his statistics, but also carry on his legacy. And that's where her journey comes into play. Now, I have to say that Gal character is so enjoyable, but there's something I really didn't like about it, and that's the fact that they did such an amazing job in making you attached to this character that you wanted to see her every episode. And because of how they had to tell the story, there was times where she wasn't present, and you just were like, well, where is she, But fantastic job by Lau Lubell in being one of our leads here. Our second lead now is Xavier Hardin, who's played by Leah Harvey. She's on a distant planet. Now, this planet here is a part of, humanity here, in which they are trying to basically, rebuild and basically save everybody for the fall of the Galactic Empire here. So they're on this distant planet, and basically they are deemed as the foundation of humanity for the future. They are strong believers of Dr. Harry Seldon's and his teachings, his predictions, and they know that they have a task into going forward. Now, the thing about this is really interesting, is that these group of people are on this planet, and while they think that they are the way and going forward, everybody doesn't agree with it, especially Empire, because it's a threat to them, but it also draws the attention from all different sorts of species and races, because now it's just an all flat out war amongst everybody, amongst power. Revenge and all sorts of different things are at hand here, shall I say. And yeah, so that's that. Our two leads here, and our two lead characters, Gal and Xavier, two strong black women. Love it. Love to see it. And their performances are so good that, again, you get so attached to them, it really adds just another level of just suspense this entire journey, because you just want to see where do they go next, the next mission, how do they get out of this next situation that they're, whatever it may be. But they are just fantastic as your leads here. And again, as two strong black women being your leads, gotta love it. Got to love it. But let's talk about a few other things really quickly. One big thing is because there are like moments of this, this series is jumping between different timelines. You're seeing early in Dr. Harry Seldon's and when he first meets Gal, and then you're seeing later on, and then you're seeing Xavier at a different point. There's a lot of that going on, and you have to pay attention because it can get a little bit tricky, especially considering some of the other really things that are kind of happening intertwined within these stories that it could be just a little tricky. However, they really do a really good job in world building and character development. So either way, you know, you're getting a vast amount of information, not to mention just the history of the different of the different characters or the different races and whatnot, that you're getting so much information here that you really got to pay attention, because it's jumping around a little bit but also giving you the necessary detail. And that's what I loved about it. I feel like I really understand a lot of what's going on with these characters, their psychology, and this, you know, just the different struggles that the different races of people have been through, as well as just, you know, why I should invest in certain characters and whatnot. But again, yes, because you're moving between different time periods, it gets just a little bit tricky at times, you know? But yeah, I really love the world building, and the visuals are just stunning. Episode 7 is so good, so good, and episode 9 is so epic in regards to storytelling, in regards to what's happening with the story, what's to expect next. So, but I gotta say, I really cannot wait for season 2. And this season, they really did something that I didn't think they were gonna do. I thought they were gonna leave us with a huge cliffhanger, because there was one huge question that I was asking myself the entire season that was answered at the conclusion of this season, and that's satisfying. Thus, now I can be at peace and just wait for season 2, which I know that there's 3 books, so even though I haven't read the novels, I know there's 3, so that means that they're definitely on board for more seasons here. But I'm very satisfied with what this season gave me, and I can't wait to see what comes next. And it's just fantastic cast: Jared Harris, Lee Pace, and then, like I said, Lyle Lubell and Leah Harvey. You know, there's just the chemistry amongst the characters, the suspense, the story, the world, the visuals, everything. This was worth the wait. This really was. And I'm so happy to have checked this out, folks. You do not want to miss this one. This one's all the hype, every bit worth of the hype here. Check it out, folks. Check it out. Again, you can check out the first 2 episodes September 24th or exclusively on Apple TV Plus. This is Foundation. Folks, jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this series, your excitement for it, and stay around as the episodes continue to come in. Let me know your thoughts. Please let me know what you're feeling about this series. I can't wait to hear. But until next time, folks, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.